Gerald the elephant and Piggy the pig sit together on a grassy hill, embodying the spirit of friendship and anticipation as they await a surprise. Gerald looks curious and a bit impatient, while Piggy beams with excitement, setting the stage for a heartwarming lesson on patience. Once upon a time, in a small and lively town, there were two good friends named Gerald and Piggy. They did everything together, laughing, playing, sharing secrets, and cheering each other up. One sunny afternoon, Piggy came bounding over to Gerald with an announcement that would test his patience in ways he had never expected. This is a story about learning the importance of waiting, even when it's not easy. The big surprise. Gerald was just finishing his morning routine when Piggy came running over with a giant smile. "Gerald," she shouted, nearly bouncing with excitement. Gerald looked up, a bit startled, his trunk wiggling in curiosity. "Piggy, what's going on? I have a surprise for you," Piggy declared. Gerald's eyes widened. He loved surprises. "Oh, I love surprises. Tell me, what is it?" Piggy giggled. "Oh no, no, no. I can't tell you. You have to wait." Gerald's ears drooped slightly. "Wait, but Piggy, waiting is not easy." Piggy winked. "Trust me, Gerald, it will be worth it." Gerald sighed, but he was intrigued. He trusted Piggy and knew she wouldn't let him down. Still, waiting was not his favorite thing. As Gerald fidgets with impatience, Piggy stays cheerful, encouraging him to embrace the wait as part of the surprise. The struggle begins. Time ticked by. Gerald tapped his foot. Then he tapped his other foot. He even tried doing a little dance to pass the time. Piggy, sitting calmly beside him, smiled. "What are you doing, Gerald?" "Trying to pass the time," he replied, his voice tinged with impatience. "How long do I have to wait?" Piggy checked the sky as if looking for some secret sign. "Not much longer, Gerald." "Patience. Oh, Piggy, this is so hard." Gerald groaned. "Why can't you just tell me?" Piggy shook her head. "Because then it wouldn't be a surprise. You'll see, it's amazing." Gerald tried to imagine all the possible surprises Piggy might have in store for him, but his imagination didn't make the waiting any easier. He tried counting clouds, watching birds fly, and even closing his eyes to calm down, but his mind kept returning to one thought: how long was this going to take? A test of patience. The afternoon sun climbed higher in the sky, and Gerald's patience was wearing thin. He tried distracting himself by humming a tune. However, every time he stopped, he would look at Piggy with a pleading expression. "Piggy, please, I am not good at waiting," Gerald said, almost ready to give up. Piggy chuckled. "I know, Gerald. That's why this is a good test for you. You know, waiting can be fun if you think of it as part of the surprise." Gerald tried to embrace Piggy's positive outlook, but the minutes seemed to stretch into hours. He couldn't resist asking again, "Can you at least give me a hint, Piggy?" Piggy put a finger to her lips. "No hints, Gerald, only patience." Gerald sighed dramatically and flopped onto the ground, covering his eyes with his trunk. Waiting was so hard. With the sky aglow in shades of pink and orange, Gerald begins to understand the beauty of waiting, thanks to Piggy's patience. The moments stretch on. As the day wore on, Gerald began to feel like he was waiting for something so big, it was almost impossible to imagine. He watched the sky grow orange as the sun started to set. Gerald's frustration faded slightly, replaced by curiosity. "Piggy," he said, with a little more calmness in his voice. "Is it almost time?" Piggy glanced up, looking at the colorful sky. "Almost, Gerald. The best surprises sometimes come when the waiting is hardest." Gerald took a deep breath and nodded, appreciating her wisdom, even if the waiting still gnawed at him. He had a funny feeling in his stomach, a mixture of excitement and impatience. He was learning that waiting could bring anticipation, a sensation that made him feel something wonderful was coming. The darkening sky. As the evening turned darker, Gerald noticed a twinkling light above. The stars were starting to appear, one by one, dotting the sky like tiny diamonds. "Piggy." Gerald's voice was softer now. "Why do we have to wait until night?" Piggy grinned. "Because that's when the surprise will be the best." The two friends sat in silence, watching the stars emerge. Gerald found himself feeling calmer now, absorbed in the beauty of the night. The waiting had somehow transformed into a peaceful experience. Piggy, sitting beside him, looked as content as ever. "See, Gerald, waiting is sometimes like taking a deep breath before something wonderful happens." This made Gerald smile. He realized he was actually enjoying the stillness, the quietness, and the beauty of the stars above. Maybe Piggy was right. maybe waiting could be magical in its own way. Under a starry night sky, Gerald's frustration fades into awe, as he learns to enjoy the quiet magic of waiting. The grand reveal. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Piggie stood up with excitement sparkling in her eyes. "It's time, Gerald." Gerald jumped to his feet, his heart pounding with anticipation. Piggie pointed to the sky. "Look up," and there, as Gerald raised his gaze, he saw the most magnificent shooting star streaking across the sky, leaving a bright, shimmering trail behind. The night was alive with stars, but this one outshone them all, glowing brilliantly as it soared across the dark expanse. "Oh, Piggie," Gerald whispered, utterly mesmerized. "It's beautiful." Piggie nodded, her face glowing with happiness. "I told you it would be worth it." Gerald couldn't take his eyes off the sky, feeling a wave of awe wash over him. In that moment, he realized the waiting had made this experience even more special. If he had seen the star right away, it might not have felt as magical as it did now. "I'm glad I waited," he murmured, almost to himself. Piggie smiled. "Sometimes, the best things in life come after we wait for them. The waiting makes them more precious." A shooting star fills the sky, marking the joyful end to Gerald's journey in patience, with Piggie happily by his side. As they sat together, watching the stars, Gerald felt grateful for his friend. He had learned that sometimes waiting could bring rewards far greater than he had expected. And, more importantly, he had learned that sharing the moment with someone special made it even more meaningful. The two friends stayed side by side, gazing at the heavens, feeling a sense of wonder that filled their hearts. For Gerald, waiting might never be easy, but with Piggie by his side, he knew he could handle it. Because, in the end, some things are worth the wait.